How's it going, everybody? So this week I went to Bohol, and this is the neighboring island to Negros, where I usually live and dive. And this is the skyline of Dumaguete, which is the capital of Negros Oriental. Now, it's always a great pleasure to be on a ferry for an hour or two, at least to me. It's amazing to be in the middle of the ocean, to see the open sky, all these interesting cloud formations, and we saw dolphins too. Now, the video is dealing with the connection between very small monkeys, the tarsiers, and human size and strength training and powerlifting. Now, maybe you think this is a bit of a stretch here, this joint topics, but I don't think it is actually, so stick with me. Now, again, what beautiful cloud formations. I mean, this is psychedelic. I greatly enjoy watching this. So when we came to Bohol, we went to the Tarsier sanctuary, which is a great institution, which is a sanctuary for these very small monkeys, which were pretty common in Bohol till about the 1960s, and then because of development, which I think is really an Orwellian term, and increased human population, land use of humans, which was to the detriment of these wildernesses and of these monkeys. The tarsiers reduced in size, so courageous conservationists started this sanctuary, and it's about the size of a hectare, so it's not a zoo, and it's a habitat, and you walk around there, and the guides will find these tarsiers in the morning and then point them out to you. So this is a skill just like spotting nudibranchs underwater, to find these guinea pig sized monkeys here in this type of forest. It's this dense undergrowth, different types of grasses, bamboo, trees, palm trees, and during the night these tarsiers hunt, and during the day they rest. And did we find some? Yes, of course we did. So here it is. So this is the Philippine tarsier, which together with some closely related Indonesian species is the smallest primate species in the world. So the maximum weight, I believe, is about 180 grams, median probably less. And so this is their resting phase during the day. The visitors of the sanctuary are asked to be quiet and calm, so as to not to disturb them, but you can film them and you can photograph them, of course, without flash. And they have these very large eyes which cannot rotate in the eye sockets anymore, so instead they're very good at turning their heads. And you can also see these very distinct fingers. So these animals are arboreal, they're tree living, and they would catch insects at night. So they are the only exclusively carnivorous primate. Humans, of course, eat meat, and chimpanzees hunt for meat, but it's only a part of the diet. But these, as far as it's known, don't eat plant material, so they exclusively eat insects. And they survived in the strip of islands between mainland Asia and Australia, sometimes called Wallacea. So in mainland Asia they were in ancient times outcompeted by other primates, whereas most mammals other than marsupials and a few rodents actually never made it to Australia. So obviously there are no native monkeys in Australia. So it's this strip of islands like Sulawesi and the Philippine Islands which are home to these. So they're also still found in Leyte, Samar, and on the big southern islands in the Philippines of Mindanao. And they're very hard to find, of course, in the natural environment, and conservation wise they're really in trouble. So it's great that there is this tarsier sanctuary, and it's rightfully a tourist attraction. So what a unique opportunity to see these species essentially in their natural environment on the premises of the Tarsier sanctuary. They also have a skeleton of a tarsier where you can see the adaptive specializations to this tree living, night living lifestyle. So these very long, distinct fingers and the very big eye sockets, where these large eyes which collect their remaining lights at night. So I had the chance to talk to the founder of the center. What is the scientific name of the Philippine tarsier, please?
Now it's already renamed on my name, Tarsiers Carlitos erecta.
Awesome. So you have this species named after you?
Yes, 2010,
Nice.
approved by the International Journal of Primatology.
Nice. And this is for your efforts in conservation of the species?
Yes.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you also.
How is it difficult to find it in later?
Yes, difficult. Some researchers going there, sometimes you cannot see it.
So you have to go like in the book and a lot of patience. Very cool. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Now, what does this have to do with powerlifting? This is Edward Drinker Cope, who, besides having a somewhat funny middle name, was one of the most influential American biologists of the 19th century. And he proposed what's called Cope's rule, or Cope's law, which states that most lineages of animals grow in size over evolutionary time. So this is Ambulocetus, which is an extinct proto whale, and it's about the size of a seal. And this is a blue whale, and there's always a human as a measure. And then, so you can see these small tarsiers, which of course are not ancestral, but they branched off very early, maybe about 50 million years ago, from the rest of the monkeys and the apes and humans. And in a number of cases, monkeys and apes grew to big sizes, and including me. So I went to a powerlifting meeting. Here I'm not completing a 190 kilo deadlift, but I deadlifted 170 kilos. I did some decent squats and bench press too, and I'm about 108 kilos, which is about 1,000 tarsiers, if you think about that. So humans are definitely an example of Cope's rule in action, I believe, and I think it's worth considering how this influenced both human evolution, and I think it's worth considering how this influences a lot of environmental problems. A single human just needs a lot of calories, a lot of food per day, and consequentially, by the scaling laws, a single human needs a lot of area. And I hope you found these thoughts interesting. Powerlifting and human evolution and tarsiers are connected, and see you next week. Okay, I have a couple of very exciting announcements, so you should listen to this. First of all, my new book, it's called The Lives of Gobies, has been out now for a few weeks. If you like my underwater videos, you'll probably like my underwater photography, and there's a lot of that in this book, and a lot of, I think, really interesting information about these fascinating small fishes. So you can order it at the Asia Geographic webpage, the link is below. Now, we are also, and we being my friend and colleague James Reimer and me, we are planning a new book, and it's called Oceans of the Future. Now, this is about the trajectory our planet's oceans are taking with the current unfortunate level of human intervention in the health of these ocean ecosystems. So with all these environmental problems, how will oceans look in 500 years? How will they look in 10,000 years? I think it's a fascinating topic which we want to address for a interested lay audience, and if you are a publisher who wants to take on our book, please contact us. And yes, finally, like and subscribe if you really want to help out the channel and see more underwater videos. I also put my PayPal there. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I'm actually heading out to just another dive in the Philippines. So see you soon.